All right, so you're prepping for coding interviews, right?
Yeah.
And you want to really stand out. I mean, who doesn't? And we know a killer personal coding project, that can do the trick, but it can be tough to know where to even begin.
For sure.
Well, that's what we're diving deep into today.
Okay.
This Algo Academy blog post all about building projects that'll impress interviewers. The ones that make them say, like, wow, we need this person on our team.
Yeah, it really goes beyond just the code.
Yeah.
It's about showing your passion and how you can solve problems.
Yeah.
Like things a resume just can't really capture.
That's so true. And the blog, it really stresses choosing a project that you're genuinely excited about.
Right.
And it makes sense. Interviewers, I think they can totally sniff out when you're faking it,
Absolutely.
if you're not truly passionate about the project.
Yeah, for sure. The blog has some great examples like creating a social media app, but with a unique twist.
Oh, interesting.
Or a finance tool,
Hmm.
with some seriously advanced features.
Hmm.
Imagine like walking into an interview and you're talking about something you poured your heart into. That's way more impressive than just like a basic to-do list app that everyone builds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. It's like saying, hey, look, yeah, I can code,
Right.
but I can also take these skills and apply them to some, like, pretty interesting problem.
Exactly.
And maybe even in, like, a specific industry. And that's got to be impressive to potential employers.
Definitely. Shows you're already thinking about how your skills can be applied in a real world setting,
Yeah.
And speaking of real world, the blog really emphasizes having a solid plan.
Planning. Ooh, not exactly the most,
Yeah.
exciting part of coding.
No, it's not the flashy part,
I'd
but
say that's super important.
it's more important than a lot of people think. A detailed plan. It shows you can break down complex problems, right,
Okay.
into manageable steps.
Yeah.
That's huge for interviewers because it tells them you're organized, right? You can think like a project manager. Even better if you use tools like Trello or Asana to plan everything out.
Oh, that's a good point. So it's like showing up to
Right.
the interview and you've already used these industry standard tools. Like you're saying, hey, I'm already thinking like I'm part of your team.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so what about the tech stack?
Yeah.
Does that matter in this whole like, impress the interviewers game?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Your tech stack. Think of it as your project's toolkit. It tells a lot about you as a developer, right?
Okay.
It shows that you understand what's needed to, to build this project, bring your idea to life, and it shows that you're keeping up with the industry trends, right?
Yeah.
If you're building a web app, maybe a MERN or Mean Stack is the way to go.
Yeah.
If you're into mobile development, React Native or Flutter might be a better choice.
Okay. So many options. How do you even choose?
That's the thing. There are so many options. So think about the type of job you want and the problem you're solving with this project, right?
Okay, yeah, good point.
If you want to be a front-end web developer, got to showcase your React skills. If you want to build Android apps, well, Flutter would be a good shout, as you say over there.
I like it. It's about picking the right tool for the job and the job you want.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got a great idea, we've got a solid plan, we've picked our tools.
Yeah.
What about the actual coding part?
Right.
I feel like the blog had some good advice on that too.
They do. They talk a lot about writing clean, maintainable code.
Mm-hmm.
And you might think, well, it's just me working on this.
Yeah.
But it matters. Trust me.
Really? So it's not just about making the code work.
No,
It's about how it's written.
it is about how it's written. Think of your code like a window into your mind as a developer.
Okay.
Clean, well-commented code. That shows you care about quality, right?
Yeah.
You understand best practices. Other developers can easily work with your code.
Right.
And that's gold for interviewers, right?
It's like, look, I don't just, slap things together.
Right.
I build things that are meant to last.
Yeah. They even give a good example in the blog of, good JavaScript code
Okay.
with clear comments and a nice, logical structure to it.
Got it. Okay, so now, to make the project even more impressive, the blog talks about adding some advanced features or even like cutting edge technologies.
Well,
What?
absolutely. We're talking about things like machine learning, cloud services, APIs, real-time features, all that good stuff. The things that make a project really stand out.
It's like taking a good project and then like injecting it with superpowers.
Superpowers, exactly.
Like adding a machine learning model
Yeah.
to a recipe app to give personalized recommendations.
Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. It shows you're not just following a tutorial.
Right.
You're going above and beyond, pushing the boundaries, learning new things.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've got the passion, the plan, the right tech, the clean code, and the advanced features. What else makes a project really stand out to those interviewers?
Well, we've got all this technical stuff down, right?
Yeah.
But we can't underestimate the power of user experience and design.
Right.
Even the most sophisticated project can fall flat if it's a pain to use.
That's so true. It's like, what good is a fancy car if you can't even figure out how to drive it, right?
Exactly.
It's got to be intuitive, enjoyable to use.
The blog talks about creating an interface that's intuitive, using responsive design so it looks good on any device, choosing the right color scheme, typography, all those details matter.
Yeah, they even mention like incorporating accessibility features.
Yes.
Which is a big deal nowadays.
Yeah.
It shows you're thinking about, making your project usable for everyone.
Exactly. Shows you're committed to creating a positive, inclusive experience for all users, which, let's be honest, who wouldn't want a developer like that on their team?
Right, exactly. Okay, so now we have a visually appealing, easy-to-use project.
Right.
What's next?
Testing.
Testing.
Thorough testing.
Oh, okay.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's often overlooked, especially in personal projects.
I can see how that happens. You're so excited to build the cool features.
Yeah.
Testing kind of feels like a chore.
Yeah, it could feel that way.
Why is it so important for those interviewers, though?
Because thorough testing, it shows potential employers that you're serious about quality and reliability, which are essential traits for any good developer.
Yeah.
Think about it. Would you trust software that hasn't been thoroughly tested?
Probably not.
No. So don't just talk about testing. Show them that you know how to do it right.
Okay.
The blog even has an example.
Yeah.
Using Jest, showing how to write unit tests for JavaScript code.
Sure.
It's like saying, hey, I don't just write code, I make sure that it works properly too.
Yeah. That's impressive. Like, okay. You're thinking like a professional who cares about building, good quality, reliable software.
Exactly.
All right, so we built this incredible project.
Right.
It's well tested. It looks great. It's easy to use. What's the next step to really make it stand out?
Documentation.
Documentation.
Yes.
So like writing a user manual for your project.
It might not sound as exciting as coding up all those fancy features.
Yeah, it does sound kind of boring, honestly.
No, but think about it. Like, what good is a brilliant project if nobody knows how to use it?
Right.
Or understand how it works?
It's like having a secret recipe locked away in a vault,
Exactly.
No one gets to enjoy it.
And here's the thing. Documentation, it's not just about explaining your project. It's also about showing off your communication skills, which are like super important for any developer role, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The blog recommends having a detailed re-ADM file, API documentation, code comments, a changelog, and even troubleshooting guides.
It's like you're taking someone on a guided tour of your project and you're saying, hey, look how much thought and care went into every single detail.
Yeah, you got it. It shows you're not just a coder, you're a communicator, someone who can make complex things understandable to others.
I like that a lot. Okay, documentation. Got it.
Yeah.
So we've got this well-documented project. It's looking pretty impressive.
Yeah.
What's the next step to seal the deal with those interviewers?
Deployment. Time to take your project from your local computer and share it with the world.
Ooh.
So
like launching it so anyone can access it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The blog suggests using platforms like Heroku, Netlify, or Vercel. All great options for easy deployment, right?
Okay, yeah.
They even mention setting up what's called a CI/CD pipeline.
Okay.
Which might sound a little intimidating, but it basically just means automating the whole deployment process.
So it's like showing that you're not just building a little toy project. You're thinking about how to build real-world applications that can be launched and maintained like a pro.
Like a pro, exactly. And by hosting your project online, it allows interviewers to actually see it in action.
Right. Yeah, that's huge. It's one thing to talk about it, but it's another to let them actually experience it.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we've got this project. It's deployed, ready for the world to see.
Right.
What's next?
Well, now you have to showcase it. It's all about presentation.
Ooh, presentation?
Even the coolest project can fall flat if it's not presented effectively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like having a delicious cake. You don't just want to slop it onto a plate.
Exactly.
You want to present it beautifully.
It's about showcasing your project's strengths and making it easy for the interviewer to understand what you built and why it's so awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Does the blog have any tips on how to really make your presentation top-notch?
They do.
Okay.
They recommend having a polished GitHub repository
Okay.
with a good read-OM and, of course, screenshots and GIFs to demonstrate the functionality.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And maybe even a demo video walking people through the project.
It's like putting together this like complete package,
Yes, sir.
that shows off your work in the best possible light.
Exactly.
Now, what about preparing to actually talk about your project in the interview?
Yeah.
That can be nerve-wracking.
It can be, but it's also your chance to really shine.
Yeah.
The blog recommends that you anticipate the questions interviewers might ask,
Yeah.
and you prepare concise, engaging answers. Like, have a cheat sheet in your back pocket.
Like practicing your lines
Yes, yeah.
before a big performance.
Yeah, exactly.
So what kind of questions should we think about beforehand?
They have some sample questions in the blog
Oh,
to get you started, like, what inspired you to create this project? Or what were the biggest challenges you faced?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you overcome them? Thinking about these beforehand can really help you stay calm and collected during the interview.
Yeah, I like those. Having those answers ready to go. Shows that you can really articulate your process, your passion for the project, all that good stuff.
Exactly. It shows you've put thought into it.
Okay, so we launched our project. It's live. We're ready to talk about it. Anything else we can do to keep impressing those interviewers?
Continuous improvement.
Oh, continuous improvement.
You got this awesome project, but the learning doesn't stop there. The Algocademy blog really emphasizes this.
So it's not set it and forget it.
No, definitely not. It's about showing that you're committed to ongoing growth and development, which are super valuable traits in the tech world.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. How do we do that? Any suggestions from the blog?
They suggest regularly updating your dependencies, addressing any security vulnerabilities that come up, implementing user feedback, maybe adding new features, optimizing existing ones, refactoring code to make it cleaner and more efficient.
So it's like showing that you're not just hey, I did this one thing and I'm done.
Right.
You're always learning, adapting, improving your skills.
Exactly. And that dedication can really set you apart from other candidates.
Okay. Now, here's something that's really interesting.
Yeah.
The blog also talks about using your project as a networking tool.
Yes.
Now, how can a personal coding project help with networking?
It's a great conversation starter. It gives you something concrete to talk about with other developers, with potential employers, really with anyone in the tech industry.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So instead of just saying, hey, I'm a developer, you can say, hey, I'm a developer, and I built this cool project that does X, Y, and Z. It instantly makes you more memorable.
Right. So instead of awkwardly trying to network at events,
Right.
I can let my project do the talking.
Exactly. Yeah, and the blog even suggests contributing to open source projects,
Oh, yeah.
attending hackathons, and joining online communities as, great ways to connect with other developers and get your project out there.
And those are all about, not just networking. They're about learning from others, collaborating, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And who knows, you might even find your dream job through those connections.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From choosing a project all the way to, networking. Is there anything else we should keep in mind as we embark on this coding journey?
Yeah, the blog ends on a really important point. Reflection.
Reflection.
Yeah, take the time to really reflect on what you've learned throughout this process, right? The challenges you faced, the solutions you came up with.
So it's not just about the end product, it's about the journey, too.
Exactly. They even suggest keeping a development journal or even a blog to document your progress
Oh, yeah.
and your experiences.
That's a great idea. It's like writing a behind-the-scenes story of your project.
Yeah, and I bet it's also super helpful for interviews,
Yeah, I can see that. Helps you, really articulate your thoughts, demonstrate your learning process.
Yeah.
Those are all valuable things to potential employers.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here, from choosing a project to reflecting on our learning journey.
We have.
What's the key takeaway for our listener?
I think the key takeaway is that building a great coding project, it's not just about writing code,
Yeah.
It's about showing your passion, showing how you can solve problems, your commitment to continuous learning, and really your unique skills and interests.
Yeah, it's like saying, this is me.
Exactly.
This is what I can do, and this is how I think.
Exactly.
I like that.
Now, a final thought-provoking question I want to leave you with.
Okay.
How does your project reflect your unique strengths and your passions?
That's a great question to consider.
Yeah. what makes it stand out.
And remember, you've got the power to create something truly impressive. You got this.
You do. And don't forget to enjoy the process. Building a coding project should be challenging, but it should also be rewarding. So embrace the learning curve, experiment, and have fun along the way.
I love that. Now go out there and start building. We can't wait to see what you create.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what really struck me about this Algocademy post? It's how it subtly connects personal projects to the big picture, you know?
Yeah.
Career growth.
Okay.
It's not just about wowing the interviewer for one job.
Right.
It's about developing a mindset, skills that'll benefit you throughout your entire career.
That's a great point. It's like, hey, this project, it's just the beginning.
Right.
Use this to become a better developer, problem solver, collaborator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And think about it, each project you do, it adds another layer to your portfolio.
Okay.
It shows employers how you've grown, what you've learned.
Okay.
They can see your commitment to continuous learning, which is so important in tech.
It's like leveling up in a video game.
I love that analogy.
Right. Each project's a new challenge.
Yeah.
You gain experience, you unlock new skills. It's awesome.
Speaking of leveling up, the blog also talks about reflecting on that journey,
Wow.
It's not just about building something cool.
Right.
It's about understanding why you made certain decisions, what challenges you faced, what you learned along the way.
Right. Being able to talk about that journey, how you overcame obstacles, and what you would do differently next time.
Right. Yeah.
That shows real growth and self-awareness.
It does. Because it proves you're not just mindlessly coding. You're actually thinking about your work, analyzing your decisions, and always looking for ways to improve. Those are the qualities that make a great developer.
So it's not just about having a finished product. It's about being able to tell the story of the project.
Yes.
The good, the bad, the lessons learned.
And that kind of self-awareness and reflection, that's something that employers really value.
It's about showcasing your growth as a developer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it shows you're not just coding for the sake of coding, but you're actually thinking critically about the process.
That's a fantastic takeaway for our listeners.
Right.
Building a standout code project, it goes way beyond the code.
It does.
It's about passion. It's about problem solving. It's about continuous learning. And it's about letting those unique skills shine through.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the entire journey, the ups, the downs, the challenges, and the triumphs that come with building something new.
Now, before we wrap up this section on building these awesome projects, I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier. Choosing a project that aligns with your passions and goals.
Yes.
The Algocademy blog really emphasized that, didn't they?
They did, and for good reason.
Yeah.
Because when you're genuinely excited about a project, that shows in your work, in your presentation, especially your enthusiasm during those interviews.
Passion is contagious, right?
It is. It's like that saying, choose a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Right, exactly.
And while building the project may not always feel like a walk in the park, it should be something that challenges you, excites you, something that pushes you to learn and grow.
So for our listeners out there who are maybe feeling a little stuck, what advice would you give them on how to find that perfect project?
I would say start by thinking about the problems you're passionate about solving.
Okay.
The technologies you want to learn, maybe the industries that really pique your interest.
And it doesn't have to be some big groundbreaking idea.
Right? Not at all.
It's more about finding something that you find interesting and engaging.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to think outside the box, to experiment, to create something truly unique that reflects your interests and skills. Let your personality shine through.
I love that. So as we kind of wrap up the section on building these standout coding projects, is there one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
Building a great project is about more than just ticking boxes. It's about showcasing your passion, your problem-solving skills, your commitment to learning, and most importantly, building something that you're proud of, something that reflects your potential as a developer.
Beautifully said. And don't forget to have fun along the way.
Yes.
Coding should be challenging and rewarding, so embrace that learning process, experiment, and celebrate those wins.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Now, before we officially sign off, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question to ponder.
Okay.
Something the Algocademy blog got me thinking about. How can you use your personal coding project as a catalyst?
Okay.
Not just for landing a job, but for launching a truly fulfilling and impactful career in tech?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one worth really thinking about. that personal project, it's more than just a stepping stone. It's a springboard.
Right.
It's a chance to showcase your skills, connect with other people in the industry, and start building your reputation.
It's about taking ownership of your career path.
Right.
And creating something that reflects your vision for the future.
Exactly. So as you embark on your coding journey, think about the bigger picture.
The impact you want to make, the problems you want to solve, the legacy you want to leave behind.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
Now, go out there and start building.
Yes.
We can't wait to see what you create and the amazing careers you launch. You know, as we wrap up this deep dive into building projects that'll make those interviewers go, wow.
Yeah.
There's one more thing from the Algo Academy blog I want to touch on. Networking.
Oh, networking. That's so important.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to get so focused on the technical stuff that we forget about building relationships, which is huge in this industry.
Absolutely. And I love how the blog emphasizes using your project as a networking tool.
Yeah, me too.
It gives you something to talk about.
Right.
You know, a way to showcase your skills to other developers, potential employers, anybody.
It's like a natural conversation starter.
It is. Instead of just saying, hi, I'm a developer, you can say, hi, I'm a developer, and I built this really cool project that does blank. You know?
Oh, right.
It's way more engaging.
Yeah, it's not just handing them a business card. You're giving them a glimpse into how you think as a developer.
Exactly.
Which is so much more impressive.
The blog even suggests contributing to open source projects, going to hackathons, joining those online communities.
Those are all great ideas.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the networking aspect. It's about learning from others, collaborating, pushing yourself out of that comfort zone.
Absolutely. And who knows, you might even find your dream job through those connections.
Okay, so we've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
From choosing the project to planning it, developing it, showcasing it, even networking.
That's a lot, right?
It's a lot to take in. But I think we've given our listeners a really good roadmap for creating a project that stands out.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up, I just want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, I'm all ears.
The most impressive coding projects, they're the ones that really have that spark of you.
Yeah.
You know, your passions, your skills, your personality. Don't be afraid to let your creativity run wild, to experiment, to build something that represents you as a developer.
I love that. It's not about following some formula.
Right.
It's about embracing what makes you unique.
Exactly.
But letting your passion for coding drive you.
So as you start your coding journey, remember that you have the power to create something truly special.
Yeah.
Something that reflects your talents and sets you apart.
And don't be afraid to share your work with the world, to connect with others who love coding as much as you do, and to use this project as a launch pad for an amazing career.
We believe in you, and we can't wait to see what you create.
That's a wrap on this deep dive into creating coding projects that wow interviewers. We hope you got some great insights and are feeling inspired to start building. Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination, so enjoy it, embrace those challenges, and never stop learning. Until next time, happy coding.